all this stuff, you know, and she's there trying to raise my sister and I, and she lost her husband, also our grandfather, her dad passed away, all in the same like year, like time period. And any relative she had that was close was in Florida, because her parents moved down to Florida to retire, even though it was just like in a trailer per se. And then her sister and her sister's husband and 2 sons moved down there. So my mom was kind of abandoned in her time of need, just by default, you know. So anyway, but I think the story is she kind of broke down and cried. She might have been hired as a temp first, and then they turned her into permanent. But the old office used to be at the Port of Wilmington, and back then, and it might still be this way, it was all a little bit sketchy, scary, and dumpy. She was like right next to a bridge at the Port of Wilmington in an old building. On the flip side, I see it now as she was way off in another direction, far away from other potential hazards that you might find in more crowded office spaces, or you know what I mean. So she actually felt safe with that employer. Like, she could do her job and feel in control on some level. She was like the only secretary for, you know, whatever. But many years later, they would construct a new building down by the Delaware racetrack. In fact, did the Delaware racetrack come before that or after? So anyway, but they built a new building all the way down by community college, like Delaware Community College and the racetrack. And they got to enjoy like a more modern building after many years of having, you know, been in this old building that was way off in the, you know, sort of dregs of society kind of idea. So anyway, I was thinking too about the experience that started in 2011, and it's hard to explain technically. Sometimes I see myself as a living unknown soldier, because there's always phases of this thing, and it's almost like being invisibly trained. So like the current training would be, we don't want you to be afraid to use certain words. In the past, I would be afraid to use certain words or say certain things, you know, because it's like, well, if I use that word, I don't want to sound like a right-winger, like an extreme right-wing person, or I don't want to, like, even dregs of society I would worry about using. Also, I'm very sensitive. I'm basically liberal on most issues. And I feel badly for a lot of people who don't have the same opportunities as others, and so on and so on. So if I were to start to sound like someone who is opposite of technically my entire experience, I mean, I grew up in such a way where it's like, you know, I don't want to sound a certain way, but anyway, hard to explain. But the current universe doesn't want me to be afraid to use the word dregs, like in Dregs of Society, or dreads, I guess that's the word. So invisibly and without getting paid, people are always trying to work out the kinks of this, that, and the other. And it's like, you know, I think it's so funny. There's all these people who invisibly think they're important, and then they come along and they think they're part of a larger, bigger picture thing where they believe like that I'm supposed to be, you know, refined or to whatever it is they're looking for. And they're supposed to do it invisibly, and it's like, you know what, I was tortured so badly, and I've been technically trained, if you will, and I've been through so many phases since 2011 of whatever it is. Technically it's really just gang stalking, because my concern is, what if they try to turn people into someone they never were, you know, whether it's a, you know, supremacist or what have you, using words that you would never use, and so forth and so on. And you, like, they could, this goes into the puppet machines and the matrices of the world, but anyway, all of a sudden, someone invisible on the street who's someone's, say, CIA creation without getting paid or being open about it, or, you know, becomes, you know, someone in the eyes of someone else. So anyway, it's hard to explain, but I'm tired of, like, being used, per se, and anyway, you would have to experience something to be like, you know, some people do experience things and they might secretly think they're super important, but they also know that they're not getting paid and they don't get benefits, they don't get federal holidays off, and yet they're used by people who do get those things in a large sum, you know, like a large salary, lots of benefits, you know, tons of vacation. So I just want to put it out there that this happens all the time, and just leave it at that. I know someone wanted me to feel safe using the word dregs, as in dregs of society, but for some reason I didn't want to use it because I want to be more sensitive and more precise for whatever reason. Ace Hotel Laundry, usually they have like AC. That reminds me of AC Linen, but that's Ace. It looks similar. Pink Bus, Pink Energy. They must have the ice rink just about up. Maybe I see lots of lights and glitter in front of the City Hall and the mayor's office and so forth and so on. I know I'm puppeted. So some news channels out here catching footage, I guess, you know. Doesn't look like it's quite open. They have signage that says, please pardon our appearance while we set up the Rothman ice rink. So they're still in setup mode, it seems. They do have people in the tent over there, and there's like a whole place where you put all your shoes and stuff like that, but that's the ice rink before it really opens. I don't know if they, I don't think that, do they wait all the way till Thanksgiving before they open it? It does stay open after Christmas, like as long as we have cold weather. It might go through February, I kind of forget. But they've got Christmas Village shops all ready to get started. Maybe they start this week, who knows. Make-A-Wish wall. So you can make a wish there. This is the SEPTA station, or going down to a lot of lines. It's a big concourse, so it's the Broad Street line. You can get on the L, you can get on the Green line, which is the trolley. You can, you know, walk all the way over to the regional rail lines, which are really like the local trains out to farther places. So, Winter Garden. There's the Winter Garden. So they have this every year. And all these shops will be open and people will start, you know, buying stuff, and you know, if they have the money. Action News, little car.